Hey Alpha Fam, last time on Alpha Commission we were looking for Bitcoin to perhaps catch a bid in this 113 to 111 area where it is building up a bullish divergence on this chart here on a bullish shark formation as well as a bullish falling wedge as it was breaking down from a much larger bearish set of patterns here. And so what I suggested is that it was highly probable that we were going to get a nice bounce. We also had this nice diagonal trend line where we could find a bounce. And instead of people saying that the sky was going to fall on this last episode and that we would just plummet straight down, we were likely to see a mean reversion to the upside, probably up to that, 115K area. And guys, if we did tap into that underside of this big bearish pattern, that we could see that that would be a bearish back test of this pattern that could have us continuing on our way to the downside if we didn't flip above 120. So let's go ahead and go over to the charts and see how this all played out. And here you can see, absolutely, we got that mean reversion to the upside. Here's that little yellow falling wedge, our bullish shark harmonic, and we did get that nice, solid bounce straight up almost right after that video. A little chop, but almost straight up after that video, right to our measured move. Boom, guys, the Alpha Fam is just absolutely killing it. And then what happened? Of course, we were not able to push above 120. We got limited around that 117K area. A nice little flash in the pan, a bearish back test on this big bearish pattern here. And of course, that big bearish pattern with those big bearish divergences did want to force its way lower. We are following my measured move here to the downside, and currently we're having a little bit of a bearish back test at the moment. Okay, a bearish back test at the moment of the breakdown of what's looking like a basically a little double top here. Everyone's going to be saying that this is a double top that we've broken down bearishly and probably are going to continue the full measured move that I had outlined for you in the last episode down to perhaps 100K, maybe somewhere in that 105 to kind of 95 area, perhaps a flash overthrow to that 93K area where I do believe we have a CME gap, right, on the professional charts. So a lot of people are going to be looking for these deep throwdowns. And I just have to advise, the reason I wanted to make an episode is just I have to advise that we are putting in a little bit of a longer falling wedge now. We have had several taps, and we're starting to show a little bit of strength in this area, and perhaps even breaking out on this little micro pattern here. So if I just zoom in, this is where I was giving guidance in the group that we were perhaps stacking up some bullish divergences. In fact, you can see some of my chicken scratch notes here, perhaps for the 4 hour, where we can see that the RSI was threatening to break to the upside. And here you can see, absolutely, it pushed to the upside. So the RSI is breaking out to the upside, showing a little bit of relative strength. As long as bulls can hold the chart above essentially 109,250-ish, okay, bulls should have a little bit of the advantage and the momentum on their side. Underneath 109K, not so much, okay, but above 109K, especially 109 to 61.99 cents, according to my calculation. I programmed this indicator. That would suggest that the bulls would have an advantage on the chart here on the 4 hour. So what does that mean? If we take a look at this chart, you can see that effectively we have a squeeze to the upside. Now, what's the measured move on this formation? It could actually be a pretty solid move, fam. I mean, let's go ahead and go over to the daily. And we can see here on the daily, we've tapped into the bearish control zone, just kind of flirting with it. And as long as bulls want to defend against the bears, they now have the opportunity to break out, maybe have a little bit of a pullback, kind of flirt with that 109K area that I was talking about. And as long as they can continue this squeeze, they could see a mean reversion maybe up to 111, 112. If they're able to break through that chop and flip it again, this is going to start looking like an inverted head and shoulders. It's going to start looking like a power of 3. It's going to start looking like a reclaim. The measured move is actually all the way up here at 115 to 116K, and that puts us firmly back on top of this breakout back here, and this all would constitute a bear trap. It would be just a gigantic bear trap trying to get everyone bearish as they look down at 100K, as they look down at 95K greedily for their entrances. But maybe this chart just ends up squeezing to the upside. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's necessarily going to have continuation from that point. The measured move is suggesting 115. We could easily pop back down, just like we had a rejection up here. We could have another rejection on a higher time frame, pop up, kind of, loosey-goosey back test over here, and then find our way back down to that 100K. Fingers crossed, hopefully chop into the my golden parabola as we head through this, traditionally very bloody August, September, pair of months, and then hopefully get the reclaim at least by October, which is often called Uptober because it's a very bullish month statistically. So these are a couple of scenarios that I'm looking at. Now, if we did have an extreme overthrow, again, guys, we do have a CME gap somewhere in that 93K area. We do have generalized harmonic targets that could take us lower, but as long as, we're dipping down and we recover this massive trend to the upside over here, where we flip it bullishly again, or if we break down under my golden parabola and then we reclaim it, I'm going to have to continue to be in bull mode in a bull market as this market continues to get more and more parabolic. I can't be a perma bear under those conditions. We're going to have to start looking at our targets at 126, 130, maybe even those 140s as potentially our next stop if we get the moves that we're hoping for. Now, again, guys, we do have these bearish patterns. As long as we're underneath this trend line, you can see what happens, right? Rejection, rejection, rejection. Could we get trapped under here and get rejected down again? Yeah, all of this choppy area is within range. Okay, so again, I'm not trying to be a perma bear, not trying to be a perma bull. I'm just trying to bring you kind of statistical likelihoods based upon the patterns that are on the chart and where we are positioned in the middle of all of that. And hopefully that helps guide you on your journey in trading. Now, guys, if you haven't seen my group yet, please go ahead and check the link in the description of the video below. Guys, we're having an ultimate sell. It's our biggest sell of the year. So if you want to have huge discounts on it, please check out the link in the description of the video. Go ahead and check out the deals page or ping me in the group, and I'll go ahead and try to orient you for that. I think that I'm going to stop that here. Again, if we lose our footing under 109, it's going to get a bit dicey again. Under this wick low here, underneath this 107, it's going to look like we are continuing to the downside, but we do have the potential for a squeeze, even as high as a 115 to 116K, and we're fighting that boss right now. 3 big bosses that we need to look out for. One, it's this 110K area that I've been warning you about for a long time. 2, it's do we flip back above bullishly that 115? And then finally, are we able to overcome this big rising wedge, this big bearish rising wedge pattern? And if we're ever able to get above that 130 area and just claim that area as support, it's very likely that this chart is going to continue to the upside parabolically. That's your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.